Hi, welcome to the fourth space on authenticity and your brand, and why it's relevant today more than ever before, and why authenticity within your branding is your greatest asset. And lastly, why in the fourth space we describe authenticity and branding as your soul compass brand. Let's kick things off with why authenticity in your branding is so relevant today. And first up, we have that dreaded word, fake news. Popularized by a US president, a former US president. It is ever present in our lives now. And it's tiring. We're trying to work out what's real and what's fake. We're getting live fact checks on presidential speeches now. And everyone has got sensitized to fake news. What's fake, what's real. We've become a lot more discerning, a lot more cynical, I would say, even, as to what's real and what's not. Even before fake news, I think the second reason authenticity within branding is becoming even more important. It's the younger generation, the millennials, the Generation Z. Before they purchase from you, they will fact check you. They will go and check the consistency of your brand values to your actions. Again, in correlation with this fake news, they're not interested in words, promises. It's what you're going to do to back it up. And it's not just when they say fact checking your authenticity. We tend to associate kind of eco credentials with the younger generation. It's not just that. It's your authenticity as to your purpose, what we call inner drivers, and leading nicely onto, I guess, what we describe as your soul compass brand. So why do we call authenticity within your branding your soul compass brand? Whatever you do to live, thrive, and survive, following a passion and living from it, there is always a story behind that, your life story, and it is unique to you. And that's why it's your greatest asset. There isn't anything more authentic than your life story. And there's no such thing as a boring life story. We all have the rich ups and downs, tapestries of life that through nature and nurture that had led us to develop passions and interests, and ultimately, in some cases, turn these passions and interests into something you want to do for a living. Part of what we do at the fourth space is find out what these, I like to call them inner drivers. What is it that's led you to your passions? What is it about you? Either through inherent DNA or genes that you've inherited, or through nurture, through your experiences in life, well, I guess otherwise known as nurture, that has led you to down this path. And there cannot be anything more authentic than that. It is, it's who you are. It's unique to you. It's no one else can copy it. And by telling that story, you are being 100% authentic, and you can't fake that. But so that's why we think it's your greatest asset, and therefore something that, to the extent that you feel comfortable, is something that probably the world will be very interested in connecting with for the reasons I've just been through. So that, if you like, we do that process through the fireside chat, which is just exactly as it sounds, exactly what it says on the tin, if you like. But it's a very gentle way of finding out what is it that rocks your boat and makes you live, thrive, and survive. What is that story? Probably one of these things when you hear it back, you'll kind of think, oh, of course, yeah, that's it. It's one of these things that's quite hard to define on your own. It's a bit like trying to describe the air that you breathe. But what we do is, by telling your story, you are able to access, through open questions, these stories or drivers that have been stored away in your subconscious. And they are the things that people will connect with, people can identify with. People can say, that's why this person does that. That is what makes them authentic. That is why they're real. That's why I'd like to work with them. At the end of the fireside chat, we distill down the conversation into a visual art form called word cloud. And this is why we call it the soul compass branding. Because it really is, it's right from the soul. You've told your story from the soul, and all we're doing is shining a mirror on that. And from there, you're able to use that as a guiding light, a North Star, or we've called it as a compass as to who you are, what makes you, if you like, rock and roll, and why you do what you do with your life, what your passions are, and why you've chosen this path. It's a great way of, life has its ups and downs, good times, bad times, but we found that quite a few people, they have this word cloud, which is, it's a collection of words that you've used most frequently, which probably describe things that are most important to you. And a lot of people, they frame them, hang them on the wall. So, those darker moments and things aren't going so well, they can go and have a check at this word cloud art form hanging on the wall and work out where they are in relation to who they are, as depicted by the word cloud. And yes, it acts as a guiding star, North Star, as we call it, a soul compass. And then we use that, the soul compass branding. The branding part comes in when we use that to create a whole load of assets, authenticity assets, if you like, which through audio, video, color psychology, design psychology, tone of voice, font, we can all connect it back to that soul compass branding, that soul compass, that word map, word cloud, I should say. And not only to become the guiding star for you, but also a guiding star for people who want to connect with you. They know who you are. They know exactly who they're connecting with. And what they see in terms of authenticity as visualized or as described is exactly who you are. And there's no surprises. You have that consistency across all your potential customers' touch points. When they meet you, what they see is what they get, exactly what it says on the tin. And that is very reassuring. And as we described at the beginning of this video, much needed in the world that we live in today. So thank you very much for living. That's a quick whirl around authenticity, why it's important in today's world, a quick description of why it's your greatest asset, and also why we call it your soul compass brand. Thanks very much for listening.